Argument they would have since when?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that they would press the issue if it was the other way around. So you know what I'm saying, but that's just.
Well, we can leave that out.
For me, cheating is cheating.
Bottom line,
and that's how, like I said, that's how I look at it. Like I said, if it was, if Batman boxing talk, we back. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
But we talking about obviously the Glovegate or whatever the case may be, or however y'all want to put it. But like I said, from my thing is cheating is cheating. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if Kovalev had did that to Canelo, I feel like the WBC would have had something to say about it, because Canelo is who he is. And like I said, I just feel like cheating is cheating.
And man, I agree with you. I wasn't big on talking about this Glovegate thing. I was like, look, I just want Wilder to get back and beat his motherfucking ass. But you said some things to me that that I made it worth talking about. Right. From a different angle, like right. The advantages that does entail, and the fact of the matter is, bottom line is cheating. Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to have your hand, halfway down the glove.
Right.
And you said what Tyson Fury was doing. But I'll let you explain it. I'm not going to.
Yeah. So initially, so what Tyson Fury was doing was he had his glove loose to where as though he could pop his hand in the glove part and out of it. And there's certain parts in the fight where you could see him like trying to mush it back on or pulling it off. And like I said, he was using it when he felt the need to use it. If he wanted to throw a stiffer jab, he would put it on. Mm-hmm. If he wanted to use it to distract Wilder to flick it, he would pull it off. And like I said, that on top of the punching behind the head, which like I was telling you earlier, it's a cheating tactic. And not only that, I watched the first Wilder fight today. Wilder was complaining the whole first fight about getting hit behind the head. Every time he walked to the rope, he was telling the ref, he hit me behind the head. So that's a tactic that Tyson Fury uses not only in those Wilder fights, but he used it in the Klitschko fight. He used it in the Christian Hammer fight before the Klitschko fight. And like I said, a lot of people don't pay attention to it because he's so slick with how he do it. But the motherfucker cheating. You know what I'm saying? And to show you how much getting hit behind the head plays a role, Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. He could never get his legs back.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas. He was getting his ass beat before he hit Jesse Vargas behind the head.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, he ran off some rounds and was able to win the fight. So that does a lot, and it's easy to say, oh, yeah, but he got his ass whipped. Yeah, but that played a big part. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Had he not hit Wilder behind the head, maybe he wouldn't have been able to rough Wilder up the way he wanted to. Mm-hmm. But...
Well, after watching the Vargas, because like I said, to me, Vargas won the first 4 rounds. And after the knockdown, the shot behind the head and then the knockdown,
he had to try to get his legs back.
He had to get. I don't think he recovered to like the 9th round because it was a 12-round fight. Mm-hmm. But I do think still, with the lead that Vargas had built, and he won 2 of the. I thought he won at least half of the last 4 rounds. I thought he won at least 2 of the last 4 rounds. Mm-hmm. I still gave him the decision, but
I feel like that was a close enough fight. And as I always say, when the fight is close, the person that they want to win ain't gonna lose the fight.
And that's exactly
Mikey
what you
to
saw.
win. I thought it was a close fight, but I didn't necessarily see, a clear winner for Vargas like you did, Alan. But I just, because I said, like you said, the first 4 rounds, but after that, like you said, after the knockdown, after the hit behind the head, Mikey ran off several rounds. Mm-hmm. And the rounds that you're talking about are questionable that could have went either way, not just clearly Vargas rounds. You know what I'm saying? It could have been Mikey or Vargas. So Mikey
9 times out of 10, they was gonna go to Mikey.
Yeah, they was gonna go to Mikey.
But yeah, I just wanted to touch on. Like I said, everybody's talking about the Glovegate. You got some people explaining it right, and you got some people explaining it wrong. So people have different perspectives of how Tyson Fury cheated. No, he didn't have both hands halfway out. He had his right hand secured correctly, and the left hand was loose, so he was able to pop it in and pop it out when he felt the need to. But I also saw a clip where he never really allowed the ref to touch his gloves. Remember in the first fight when he got up, he put his hands on Jacaree's shoulder so he couldn't rub his gloves off. And he was just doing like a lot like tactics to get away with certain shit, which, like I said, at this point, it does nothing for the first fight. But what it does is it brings awareness to it for the third fight.
Right.
Or, you know, it doesn't do anything for the first or the second fight,
Right.
but it brings awareness to the third fight. So now, whereas nobody was paying attention to it, everybody's eyes is going to be on the gloves.
Yeah.
So now he's kind of forced to do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Wilder's corner, hopefully he adds somebody who's more vocal in the corner, because Mark Breland is not and JD's is not. Push forward is not going to be a good enough instruction to get him to beat Fury in the third fight.
No, it's not.
And they also need somebody who's going to put emphasis on, tell him stop clinching like that. Tell him stop hitting behind the head. You know what I'm saying? He need a warning. He keep hitting behind the head.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have anybody to stress it, the referee got so much other stuff to pay attention to, he may not see it. Or he may not be paying attention to that thing. It's just like when we talk about the judges. Certain judges look for certain shit to the point where they may not pay attention to a little thing or something that somebody may be doing because they're not looking for it.
Right.
But you need somebody in his corner that's going to bring attention to it, so that Kenny or whoever it is, probably Kenny Bayless or whoever, can say, okay, let me pay attention to his. Stop! I see you pulling your glove in and out.
Mm-hmm.
You do it again, I'm gonna take a point. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Stop hitting him behind the head. I caught that. You know what I'm saying? If you do it again, I'm gonna take a point. Now you force Fury to fight up an even playing field type of fight.
Stop leaning on him,
Correct.
pressing down on him, choking him.
Exactly.
That's illegal. So, I mean, I agree. And I shout out to, you know, like LWC, I shout out to Fred, all of y'all who are keeping this, you know, at the forefront
Right.
of the news, you know, online.
Right.
I was one to just say I want Wilder just to get back, but it, you know, what really, like I said, my mind about this, he was talking about, and see, let's say in the first couple of rounds, right? Fury throwing a jab, he got his hand in, right? Wilder gets the distance, so I know I just need to lean back just this much
To get
before
away
he
from-
to get away from that
Correct.
jab. He slip it out, and then that punch hits him.
Right.
The glove smacks him in his face. A temporary blind because damn, I thought I was out of range,
Right.
and then a right hand could come.
Right.
So it's a lot of shit that could be done when you slipping your hand in and out, like I said. But I just want Wilder to get back, beat his goddamn ass. But I understand why everybody's keeping it in the forefront, and so they can bring attention to it in the next fight. As far as the punch behind the head, like I said, I still say Wilder ducked into the first shot.
He
fucked
did.
him up. So
He did.
but it was several shots behind the head
Before and after
before
that.
and after that you know, Fury kept hitting him behind the head. But I mean, once your equilibrium is fucked up, and it's funny how it was, you know, that was the forefront of how when Anthony Joshua lost, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where, you know, after the punch behind the head, he could never really get his legs
Yep.
back, his legs back. It's just, but it went from that to Wilder just got his ass beat.
Right.
It wasn't no how he couldn't get his legs back after he got hit behind the damn head. You know what I'm saying? And was getting leaned on and choked. And I said, and constantly hitting behind the head. And you're talking about if you add the glove factor into it, mushed in the face.
Right. Now watch
With,
this.
yeah,
Anthony Joshua only got hit behind the head once
true.
and could never recover.
Can never recover.
So imagine the shit. I at least counted 12 or 13 times that he got hit behind the head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not taking up for him. My thing is consistency. I preach it all the time. Even with the Tony Harrison and the Charlo stuff, I had an issue with that. If you're not supposed to have a Gatorade bottle, then don't have a Gatorade bottle. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think I even used that analogy in the Tyson Fury thing. I said, because if Tyson Fury was to have a Gatorade bottle in a Wilder fight, people would have something to say about it. Remember I brought that up when they was talking about Charlo having a Gatorade bottle? So my thing is consistency, and fair is fair. You already in a sport where you cannot go home to your loved ones at the end of the night. And I just feel like regardless of whether it's Wilder cheating, Fury cheating, Canelo cheating, anybody cheating, I feel like motherfuckers need to be reprimanded for that shit, because like I said, you already in a dangerous sport.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the only reason why I even feel the need to speak on it. And I, like I said, I commend Fred and the rest of the LDBC for keeping up with it. But my thing is, keep up with it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just do it because it's Wilder. I'm a big Wilder fan too, but shit, if Wilder's wrong, then he's wrong.
Yeah.
Or if Tyson Fury is wrong, then he's wrong. I'm a Tyson Fury fan too. But wrong is wrong.
Yeah, until you really like talked about it, I didn't, like I said, I didn't really give the, you know, the glove thing much credence, because I was like, what really messed Wilder up was the fact that it was a punch behind the head. And you know he couldn't get his, and even with that, you know, a lot of people aren't talking about is that you had somebody that was closer to 300 pounds on fight night, leaning on you, choking you, and you didn't have legs since the 3rd round, and it took you to the 7th round for the referee to stop the fight.
Watch this. Wilder didn't have legs in the 1st round.
I told you I saw him stumble.
Wilder didn't have legs in the 1st round.
I told you, didn't I tell you that?
After I went back
and
and watched that shit, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker wobbling and ain't shit happen. Like, I don't get into the drugging of the water or none of that shit. I can't accuse nobody of no shit like that.
Well, then if that's the case, because I think someone made reference that, you know, the suit. But then they said, well, he trains with a 40-pound suit on.
That's different,
when
though.
He's training.
When you're training to strengthen your body. So you want to tire yourself out so that you can. That's why it's training. You don't want to have a 40-pound weight. You don't see basketball players wearing a 40-pound weight during the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the training part is to prepare for it.
You know what? I'm not. Y'all can talk about it. I'm not getting into
So
the
for me,
40-pound suit thing. I'm not getting into
my
it.
thing is, if that is the case, I don't like the fact that you brought it up.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's nobody's choice but yours. I get it. You wanted to be
for whatever reason your legs were weak. Don't matter.
There's no excuse at that point. You got in the ring.
You got in the ring. Yeah.
But
Tyson
Tyson Fury
has another analogy
Go ahead.
of why his legs was weak.
We got some cheeks.
Oh, you ain't gonna put it out there? Okay. Exactly.
We got some cheeks.
He got some cheeks.
I believe it. He said it before.
Yeah, he said it before.
But
I think that was probably more of a factor of your legs being gone than goddamn.
I hope he's smarter than that.
He said he done it before. He said he'd do it again.
But the thing is, that's his fault.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Fault.
At the end of the day, as much of a Wilder fan as I am, if you decide to get some cheeks or you decide to eat a steak and that make you too heavy night of the fight, that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you decide to fucking wear a 40-pound vest, that's your fault.
But
that
he never said.
Aside from the cheating, it's two different things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and my thing is, I don't like making excuses for somebody like Wilder because I don't believe he's the type of person that make an excuse.
No, he doesn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I know that's what came to my mind when he said, because when they I think the first interview he said, what did he say? He said, I did something maybe that I shouldn't have, or that.
Well, he said I did something that maybe I shouldn't have did that could have contributed, but it's no excuses. He was the better man.
Exactly, and that's what he said. See, you hear, I did not hear the interview when he talked about the suit. I still haven't heard it, but. I mean, I don't know exactly what he said, but I know that I heard, people saying that it was spun in a way to make it seem like he was making excuses.
Yeah.
And all he was doing was like
giving a synopsis of his day.
Right. Okay, this might have contributed, but still, he said, I'm sure he said after that he takes no credit away from Tyson Fury, and that he's happy for him or whatever, and he's gonna come back. And he's gonna get his goddamn title back. For all these people who think that it's just so fucking impossible for him to do that,
and that's what I was saying.
I don't think
that it's nothing he can do to win the fight. But that's equivalent to if we just having a conversation. I'm like, damn, Tony, you moving kind of slow today. You like, man, shit. I had to carry them heavy ass boxes at work today. And I'm like, oh shit, Tony didn't perform today. He was some shit on the show today because he had to move heavy. But nah. He didn't make that excuse. I spun it that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
how do y'all think? I mean, because if it's truth to George Foreman helping him or going to give him some advice, how can George Foreman, you think, help him?
To me, I don't see a way that George Foreman can help him.
I don't know. I guess
based on how George Foreman fought, George Foreman took a lot of shots. George Foreman was more like a Frankenstein type of boxer. Like, to me, I don't see what tactics George Foreman can show Wilder that would help him in a fight against Fury.
Like I said, I looked at it that way, but then I also thought about this. I thought that the fact of
maybe mentally.
That's what I'm saying. Mentally,
yeah.
Just because I fought this way doesn't mean we could fight a certain way, but we know boxing. You understand what I'm saying? I know boxing. I know what I can tell him or to teach him to be a better fighter. I might not be able to pull it off, with my skill set, but what he got, like the mental thing George Foreman does know boxing. I mean, I don't know how.
I believe he knows boxing, but I still believe that when training, you train in the image of what you know.
But
like if you look at Derrick James, he fight just how Earl Spence and Charlo fight. He trains based on how he fought. You know what I'm saying? And like, it just makes sense. Floyd Mayweather trains the way that he fought. Floyd Sr. He trains everybody the same. Shoulder roll, catching shots, Philly shell. Like, that's his style.
Here's where George Foreman's going to help him. I saw something the other day where they were breaking down the Michael Moore fight. Mm-hmm. And basically, Teddy Atlas realized it. I think Teddy Atlas said he realized it like the 7th round that George was just doing things to constantly set Michael Moore and make. George was doing things throughout the whole fight basically to set up what happened in the 10th round. Mm-hmm. He wasn't throwing power shots. He was like, little hits here and there. Mm-hmm. But giving Michael Moore the confidence to come in and, and that Michael Moore even said, he thought he had the fight and that he couldn't hurt him because George really wasn't putting nothing behind the punches. So when he caught him, I think what he can help Wilder do is better set up his power, kind of not put so much in every shot, but just, you got to watch this thing. I'll send it to y'all when y'all want.
No, I know what you're saying.
I think he'll help Wilder in better setting up the knockouts instead of going, like you said, when he goes in, he puts everything into the shots, and then he's wide open, easy to counter for somebody who, like Luis Ortiz was, that most of the night using him. I think George Foreman will help him better set up his shots.
Because see, George Foreman wasn't a boxing and he used to analyze boxing for HBO, right? So when George Foreman used to talk a lot of times, he would talk about some things that fighters can do. It wasn't necessarily his style of fighting, but he was like, this fighter can do this because he has boxing knowledge.
Right.
So therefore, that's what I think that he can help Wilder with. So, just something to add on to. I applaud Wilder for even. I heard that he accepted. I haven't heard from Wilder, but if he did accept it, I applaud for him to even.
See, I think when I'm looking at helping, I'm looking at Wilder needing guidance. Anybody can say, do this. Can you show me how to do it? I've never seen George Foreman slip a punch, dip, and throw you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, show me how to do it. That's what Wilder needs at this point. Not do this, do that. He has that already. Mm-hmm. Push forward with the right. He has that already. In my eyes, he needs a teacher. He needs guidance. He needs a Virgil Hunter. He needs a Nassim Richardson. He needs somebody that can show him how to do it and work on doing it over and over.
At 34 years old?
Yeah. If Anthony Joshua at 30 years old could put his mind in the mindset of not being a flat-footed fighter and getting on his feet, Wilder doesn't need major changes. He just needs work on the little things that he needs changed. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need much.
But I'm not sure necessarily that, because George was back then he did win a gold medal in the Olympics, didn't he, Alan?
Yeah, he won a gold.
And he does have a very strong, powerful jab. He can work on that with Wilder. Just because you doesn't see him do those things because he was relying on his power just like Wilder was to a certain extent, doesn't mean he doesn't know how to do it. So you might, just because, look, like I said, the man knows boxing. So, just like you just stepped to the side and threw that shot, George Foreman probably be able to show him. But, at 74 years old, you ain't going to be able to get in the ring and show him. But, but you could tell him, like, okay, when you throw the shot, you need to step and you need to throw the shot here. And then, you need to come with that power jab. Like you said, Alan, don't put everything on, on every punch, which leaves yourself open when you miss.
But you don't think Mark Reed and them tell him that?
Obviously.
I think they do.
I don't think Mark Breland and them tell him.
I just don't think he give a fuck enough to give. Y'all shut the fuck up, pretty much. To be honest.
Well, quite honestly, I can see that. I can see.
But another thing, I didn't mean to cut you off, Alan. But another thing is that he has said before, even with his cardio training, don't Don't tell me to do nothing you can't do. You can't have that. You can't have that attitude if you're going to accept help from George Foreman.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like, but see, Wilder is talking about in the sense of like getting in the ring and doing the shit. At 70 plus years old, he ain't gonna be able to get in the ring and do the shit.
Wilder
I'm just saying
bring motherfucker George Foreman in so he can knock his ass the fuck out.
You keep talking by that old man.
You keep talking all that.
Get cut by that old man that used to carry things on his, trucks up the hill on his back.
You just carry trucks up the hill.
You keep talking all that shit, old man.
I don't think that strength is gone.
Yeah, but that motherfucking movement ain't there.
Yeah, it ain't there. No, it ain't there. He put that reach on his old ass and hit him. Look, he think he blocking the shot and shit. When they wake his ass up, look, when they wake his ass up, he thought he blocked the shot. Didn't I do this? No, yeah.
And see that? I don't need Wilder to learn this.
No, I don't think you're gonna teach Wilder that because it's not what you. Nah.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Defensively, what do you teach him?
Well, you do need somebody.
Well,
but think about this. I don't think, like you said, all the stuff that you talking about these other people, what if Mark Breland and them was trying to teach him that and he still wasn't listening? So is it going to help? As long as he's accepted the help, that means he's probably willing to listen. So therefore, he could probably learn something.
I ain't heard Wilder accept nothing.
I didn't hear. I heard other people say
I don't believe it when I hear Wilder say it.
That's
I ain't
true.
heard Wilder say it.
Yeah, I haven't heard Wilder say it either. So.
But there's a lot of fighters down there I'm sure would like to help him. Hell, Holyfield probably would like to help him after watching that shit the other night. He can learn from a lot of people.
He can learn, but my thing is at this point, he needs a little bit of things. He can't start over.
That's true.
We can't say...
Absolutely.
Forget everything you ever knew. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
True, yeah.
And that's my issue. Yeah, it's a lot of motherfuckers that we could put him with. But a lot of them motherfuckers like John David Jackson, they gonna want him to start over.
No, you can't have.
He too old for that.
Well, that might be why George Foreman is the perfect person, because George Foreman depended on his power. But
he depended on his power against smaller fighters.
And Wilder won't have this problem with nobody but Tyson Fury.
Exactly. Which this is really the only motherfucker he need help for. Which is why he needs to learn smaller man tactics. I don't think George Foreman is the guy for that. I think he needs somebody who knows how to get inside of a bigger guy. Andre Ward or somebody like that can show you as well as help you do it while you're sparring.
And I don't know if that's too big of a change for him myself. You just said it. I don't know. That might be too big of a change for him to become a total effective inside fighter at this age.
I agree with you, Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he has to stand in and do a Holyfield bow.
Right.
But I'm saying it's certain shit that he need to learn, like foot placement. George Foreman is not a real good footwork type of person.
You're basing that off of his boxing career.
I'm basing it off of what I've seen him do. What else should I base it off of?
As Tony said, he's been out of the game for a long time, man. I'm sure he has something to offer.
I'm not saying he don't, but what I'm saying is I don't think he has what Wilder needs. Because
like I said, and two things. I haven't heard Wilder say it. Like I said, I don't think anybody else heard Wilder say it.
Right.
So until I hear Wilder say it, I'm not going to confirm it. But
right.
If Wilder did, accept his help, then Wilder probably thinks it's something that George Foreman can teach him.
He may think it's something that he can teach him. That don't mean that it's right. But he may
don't mean that it's wrong either.
He may see something.
Hey, it don't mean that it's wrong either. So like I said, George Foreman has a boxing mind. So therefore, it's not necessarily what he did in the ring, but he probably still knows how to do other things. Just like you have fighters who, like you say, a lot of trainers, train in the way they fight, but a lot of trainers can train a fighter on what they have and help them with that. Those are the best trainers, not just the way I fought. Because Buddy McGirt wasn't always just a jab, 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 like he taught Kovalev how to fight him. He wasn't that. So it's a trainer that can adapt to, like you said, add those little things. And George Foreman may be able to add some little things.
I just know me. If I'm trying to shoot, I'm not going to go get a center that help me learn how to shoot. I don't give a fuck how good or how much of a basketball mind he is. I'm going to go find somebody who knocked that shit down. Steph, help me. Clay, help me.
But if they not
I'm not going to say, Shaq, help me with threes. I don't give a fuck how good he is or how much of a basketball mind he was.
If they're not offering, and
sometimes you got to reach out. Sometimes you got to reach out. Sometimes you gotta reach out. Sometimes it's not about being stubborn. Sometimes it's about understanding what you need in your game.
You said Andre Ward. He ain't gonna reach out to Andre Ward.
Like I said, sometimes it's not. It's about not being stubborn.
Yeah, and I think that he would. I mean, if it's the case,
He don't have to reach out to Andre Ward. You got Floyd Mayweather Sr. You got other motherfuckers that can help you with footwork. My thing is, even if he just needs certain things, he doesn't need a full reboot.
I understand what you're saying, but let me ask
And
you
I don't
this.
think George Foreman's gonna try to give him a full reboot.
I don't think George Foreman can help him with what he needs either.
With all, I mean, and I disagree with you when you say he's the worst skilled heavyweight out there, but with all the bad habits over the years and where he's gotten to with all those bad habits, do you think he can change? Because he won't. Well, I agree with
The thing is, he doesn't need to change. He needs to add. That's the part that's what I keep saying. He doesn't have to change. He just needs to add.
That's a good discussion. What does he need to add?
I
I think first of all, I think he needs that. First thing first. Defense, and don't back straight up with your chin up in the air.
Right.
Yes, definitely. That'd be
Because
one of the first
this
things
ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And like I said, that wasn't just because he got hit behind the head type of defensive move. He always does it.
He always does it.
You know what I'm saying? In all of Ortiz fights, the first Fury fight, this the first Deverne fight. He always does it when he goes defensive.
Yeah.
That's something that needs to be added.
Mm-hmm.
Change this. Use your waist more to get out of the way of punches instead of just back and forward straight up. I think
one of the hardest things I think it's gonna be to teach Wilder
to stop spreading his feet so wide.
Yes. I really think that's going to be hard for him because I think, he's been doing that so long and relying on that power base. Like you say, even though you and I and Alan and a lot of people who watch boxing, who's been in the ring, can show him the benefits of having your feet not that far apart where you can slip and you can pivot and you don't have to back straight up. It's just that in the heat of battle, I think he's just going to go back to boom, wide stance, back and straight up. I think that's the hardest thing. If he can get through that part, man, like
everything else becomes easier because everything else works off of your feet being shoulder width apart.
And like you said, that also helps with the when your feet like that. But when you wide like this and you can't really, So,
right.
I mean, but
like I said, man,
he can. I mean, like you said, he definitely doesn't need a full reboot, but he needs somebody just to, like you said, to retool a couple of things and I mean, he's not going to become like a inside fighter like Andre Ward, but he can definitely become a better inside fighter.
I think what Anthony Joshua had to reboot and learn how to do was harder than what Wilder needs to do, because you can't teach stamina. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like Anthony Joshua was known for running out of gas,
yeah.
And for him to be able to put his mind to it, work on whatever the fuck he needed to work on to be able to get around that ring for 12 rounds, I think that's harder than what Wilder needs to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but like I said, you can't teach stamina.
No, you can't. But I mean, you got some things that help, and he did all of those.
Right.
He came down on his muscle mass, which burns a lot of energy, and he came down on his weight a lot. That helps. With him being able to move around the ring a lot. Yeah, and the fact that you was fighting a shorter fighter, and you could keep him at the end of that damn jab. You fighting somebody that's tall, and with good footwork. I don't know necessarily if that would have worked.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like...
And the fact that he came in 300 pounds.
Yeah, that's true.
So let me ask y'all a question. With the way things are now, do you see another heavyweight that can beat Wilder outside of Fury?
I don't think so. And that's why one of our last videos was titled, Tyson Fury's the only heavyweight that could beat him. And like I said before, I think if Tyson Fury was 6'5", he wouldn't have the same effect.
It wouldn't.
If he was 6'5", Wilder would be able to do the same things that he wanted to do because of the height differential. But because Fury is 2-3 inches taller than Wilder, 40-50 pounds bigger than Wilder, he's able to impose his will. And there's really no other heavyweight in the division that has those attributes. Yeah. Along with the skill.
Exactly. That's the thing right there. Along with the skill. I was telling somebody at the job, first thing they said to me like, your boy got his ass beat. I don't care about no gloves and all this other stuff like this. He got beat and they went like by a white man. You know what I'm saying? I said, well,
that way motherfucker could fight.
that's the first thing I said. I said, first of all, that motherfucker can fight, right? I said, and he said, but and you know, he went back to he don't really know a lot about boxing. Let me put it first. He talk about you know, like you go back to, like you said, Tyson, Holyfield, and all of them. I said, have they ever fought anyone 6'9" and can move around the ring like that? I said he would be a problem for anybody.
Think about how big,
not just Wilder. Tyson Fury is a fucking problem.
Think about how big those guys look when they was fighting Tyson, and they was 6'3", 230, 225. He hadn't remotely fought anybody 6'9", 280. You know what Tyson Fury would look like in the ring with Tyson? Shit probably wouldn't even look like a real match, cause he looked like he was swallowing up Wilder, and Wilder's 6'7".
And Wilder was doing some things good too. I ain't gonna let people talk.
Was.
You know, like
he really
Wilder
was.
got
The first
two rounds he was doing some good shit. And the way people talk, like from the opening round, Tyson Fury just came out there and started smacking Wilder around and shit. And that wasn't the fucking case. I'm tired of him getting
like I said.
Wait till the next fight when Wilder knock his motherfucking head off.
Knock the motherfucker.
Yeah, go ahead. Look, what? Let's go to the top heavyweight because this motherfucker looking stupid.
Batman boxing talk, man. We out.
Yeah.